Dear brothers and sisters, this is a homily for second Sunday of Advent Year C. We are invited to prepare a way so as to welcome Christ into our life. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe, said Abraham Lincoln. Yes, preparation is very key in our daily life. As Christians today, when, why, and how should we prepare a way for the Lord? Indeed, in the light of today's liturgical readings, we are going to reflect on physical images used to invite us to prepare a way for the Lord. At the same time, during this Advent season, we are reminded to also prepare ourselves physically, spiritually, as well as morally, so that we may benefit from God's salvation. In the first place, the 3 readings of this second Sunday of Advent orients and helps us to prepare a way for the Lord. In other words, Advent reminds us to prepare 3 comings of Christ, namely 1, on Christmas Day, where we commemorate his first coming 2,000 years ago. 2nd, his second coming on the day of the Lord, as St. Paul puts it in the second reading. And last but not least, Christ comes to us through holy sacraments, his holy word, and even sometimes through the events that happen in our life, such as miracles. With these 3 types of comings, I would say we are called to prepare a way so that he can truly come into our life. In the first reading, Jerusalem is personified to represent first a widow and second each one of us today. How? Jerusalem is compared to a widow who lost all her children or her husband. History teaches us that the chosen people or Israel, while in the promised land, they were taken to exile in Babylon. As the city of Jerusalem watched helplessly humiliated by the captors, she remained speechless while crying as a widow. However, in this passage, the prophet tells Jerusalem that because of the mercy and love of God for her, the chosen people exiled are going to come back, and even more so, other Jews who were scattered because of the upheavals at Jerusalem at the time of deportation will also come back. This is the context in which Prophet Baruch urges Jerusalem to rise up and stand at the top of the mountain to look at the east to see her children coming back. In fact, God has flattened every mountain and filled every valley so that his chosen people would come back to Jerusalem. More importantly, the name of Jerusalem will also change to be the peace of justice and the glory of God's worship. What can we learn from this passage? God uses messengers such as Prophet Baruch to tell people to prepare a way for the Lord. God wants us to prepare ourselves physically, spiritually, and morally so as to benefit from his salvation. On the other hand, Prophet Malachi is considered as the last prophet in the First Testament. Therefore, it took about 430 years to have another prophet in the name of John the Baptist. He had a double role of marking the end of old prophets and inaugurating a new era with the advent of Jesus Christ. One may ask, what is the role of John the Baptist during this Advent season? He is an Advent preacher because he helped and helps us to prepare spiritually for Christ's return. According to the Gospel passage, there are physical images used to teach us how we can prepare a way for the Lord in our life. These are: 1. A way. Historically speaking, before a king would visit a city, there would be preparations such as filling the potholes, making straight the road, as well as removing any obstacles. The second image is mountains and valleys. These are physical images that represent obstacles in our life. Therefore, during this Advent, we are invited to ask God's grace with our cooperation to flatten the mountains of pride, egoism, prejudgment, divisions, and fill our valleys of spiritual laziness, forgetting to pray, and lacking charity. On the other hand, John the Baptist made people to prepare a way for the Lord by voice, that is, announcing the one coming, and equally he baptized people and asked them to repent for the forgiveness of sins. As I have said before, with certainty, Christ comes to us through the sacraments such as the Holy Eucharist. Do we prepare a way to receive Him? When you are on the line going to receive Holy Communion, do you prepare a way for the Lord by saying a little prayer? Or you think of other things? Indeed, well-prepared heart receives Christ in the Holy Eucharist. Anyhow, I like soccer because it has a lot to teach me spiritually. First, in the football field, when the game is on, each player is obliged to be in a prepared position to receive a ball. I would like us to mirror this preparedness in our Christian life. During this Advent, we are reminded to prepare a way for the Lord and, of course, remain prepared always. How many of us prepare before going for Catholic Mass today? To conclude, Advent is a time to prepare a way for the Lord by reflecting and rediscovering the obstacles that prevent us from welcoming Christ into our life. Let us listen to the voice of John the Baptist, who says, "Prepare a way for the Lord." The best spiritual preparation during this Advent season is to have confession, to reconcile, and to forgive one another. This is the best gift in our Christian life. Let us prepare a way for the Lord. Amen. Have a blessed Sunday.